Good morning. Welcome to our program. I'm Dave McCann. This morning we're taking a closer look at officer-involved shootings from the police perspective. Every time an officer responds to a call, a weapon is always at the scene. It's the officer's weapon, and sometimes it can be used against them. As Jed Bowl reports, it doesn't take much time for an attacker to reach an officer before that officer can reach for his gun.
I'll approach to this point.
When to shoot. All law enforcement officers are trained to make that life or death decision in a split second.
Remember that an officer makes a decision in milliseconds that's questioned in the court, and the court has the luxury, and so does the jury, of years and time to examine every single movement as it occurred.
Retired FBI agent Juan Becerra demonstrates with me what is known in law enforcement as the 21-foot rule.
I've never heard it preached as a standard principle for assessing threats, but mainly as a rule of thumb. I'm with the FBI. I'd like to where a safe distance for assessing an imminent threat coming towards you. Whoa, 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 whoa! Bang, bang, bang!
That's not much time, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I caught you by surprise. I didn't wait for it.
Completely by surprise.
But that's the way that it happens.
Absolutely.
On the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Becerra says in this situation, the officer would have probably needed 40 feet between him and the suspect to have enough time to defend himself with his gun.
Now remember, again, police officers are human, so they're going to have the same physiological reactions that humans, any other human's going to have. The difference is they've been trained to react a certain way over and over and over again in training.
But every situation is unique and poses different threats, as I learned when I checked out Salt Lake County's new Virtra simulator. It's much more realistic than training on just one screen.
On this one, the scenario surrounds you, and you have to keep your head moving. You have to turn around and look to see what could be coming up behind you.
It affects the trainee physiologically.
Oh, it raises my heart rate. It amps the stress up a little bit.
Come away from the baby, put the gun down now. If I make good decisions, the threat de-escalates. If I make bad decisions, the threat intensifies. That's pretty intense. It elevated my pulse rate. I certainly didn't know how to respond to this guy when he had his gun on his wife or his girlfriend. And I think that when it came down to it, he killed her, and he probably killed me too. But what about those situations that start out relatively calm and then escalate?
If the person continues to escalate, the officer is left with no choice but to use deadly force.
This chart explains the deadly force continuum.
Verbal to physical right here, then rises to less than lethal, and then goes to deadly force. The problem with something like this is that sometimes officers will hesitate in this area.
And that can get an officer killed.
So you can imagine the amount of stress that officers go through on a daily basis.
Very interesting. Jed Bowl reporting.